Some short, quick throws as we need one here, but still no time to throw. And Bryce Young shaken up on the second play. Got some out routes and some quick stops at Chenault, and it's just timed beautifully. Not the same play. As we get it out to Likely, he will just get by the edge. The UDFA, hopefully he has, come on, you can't throw that flag. Well, that ball somehow comes about 30 yards underthrown, and this could be a pick six if the receivers don't catch up. Bateman in pursuit. Dives, comes up empty. Home. As we send the blitz, it's over the top of McCullough, who dives, misses. Gardner Johnson dives and misses. We send a blitz. They block it all up, but it goes straight to Sidney Brown. As they don't really send everyone deep. Pass rush. It's away. Not going to put too much weight on this one, as I think Young got confused on the route. It was a stop. Sack would do great in terms of getting him out of field goal range, and they're gonna get us on another bogus DPI call here. Last time was the free penalty, and they're doing it again. That ball wasn't even catchable. As they go with a run, Gainwell will gain well as he's headed towards the end zone and in. Though covering it pretty well, and the ball pops free. Mitchell, want to try to get the ball next time, dude? Need the touchdown as it's into Mingo. We could always count on him late. Quite no. Ford. It's short. It's picked up by Yanovich, and that will do it. But following that week one loss, we are actually still sitting in a pretty good spot in our division because 3 of the 4 teams, they all lost in week one. The only team to win in our division were the Saints, which is kind of funny because the Saints were 4th last year. We were 3rd. Then the Falcons were 1 and the Buccaneers 2. And we actually play the Buccaneers today. But we did see some good play last week. And surprisingly, that's led to a breakout for one of our defensive backs. And coming out of that game, I really had no idea who it could be for, and it's gonna be for Sidney Brown. Now, all the DBs had a pretty good game. However, he was the one that got the pick. So today, we need him, as well as the entirety of our defense, to hold them to less than 200 passing yards, or Brown himself will need to get an interception, forced fumble, tackle for a loss, or sack. With that, he will move up to a star dev. Additionally, we've had some other injuries take place this week, and really just one new injury, and that is David Andrews. So we're going to be having Max Mitchell start at center this game. He started for us last year, who's pretty decent. We got an upgrade, but Andrews is going to be out. But the other injury news is Britton Hartwell is back and ready to make his NFL debut. He played a good bit in the preseason, which is where all these snap counts are coming in from. He missed week 1 with a practice injury. He is back. Oliver did very well in his stead, the UDFA, but excited to see what Britton Hartwell can do teamed up with Stockton. Considering how good Stockton was last game, I expect to see even more of that. As for our opponents today, they have another new quarterback. Last year they had Aragon, and I feel like he didn't play all too badly. But they've added in Gardner Minshew, and he will be getting the start. They also still have Rachaad White, and he was tremendous in the previous game, so expect that we need to wrap up well today. As for their receiving group, it's still the same on top. Chris Godwin an 87, Mike Evans an 84, he's seeing some regression, and they've added Rondale Moore. He's an 82, plus they have Brandon Cooks an 80, and Hunter Renfrow an 80 with Trey Palmer at a 74. So their receiving group is stacked. Considering how good our DBs were last week, we need them to be the same today. As for our linebackers, and a little bit for Sidney Brown, not as much of tight end threat. They do have a second-year tight end in Laren Holiday, who's a 69. Behind him, they do have Payne Durham, who is a third-year player, 67, and then Cade Otton, their primary guy, he's out injured. So their third tight end is a offensive lineman. Speaking, though, of offensive linemen, really good left tackle in Tristan Wirfs, a 95. Luke Eubanks gets the start, the rookie. He's a 74. They also have Andres Pete if he needs to sub in. At center, Ryan Jensen, an 85. Cody Mock, I believe, maybe. probably butchering it considering what I normally do with names, a 73. And then at tackle, they have Wes Jackson, a second-year player, who's a 78. So for the most part, they have a very well-built O-line. And their D-line gave us fits in the past, and it probably will continue to be the same, though we've made changes for our offensive line. See how well they match up. But they do have Cansey at left end an 82. At right end, Logan Hall only a 75, but he played extremely well against us last year. And down the middle, none other than Vita Vea. We really struggled against Quinnen Williams last week. He single-handedly took our offense away from the game in the second half. We cannot let Vita Vea do the same. As for the outside linebackers, they do have Tryon Shoyinka, an 80. Over on the opposite side, there is Jarrell Taylor, a 73. So we might just need to hit that side a little bit more. Right down the middle, though, it's a really good linebacker core with Devin White, an 85, Shaq Thompson, an 81, as well as David Long Jr., an 81. And they do have Dennis, a 73. And considering we didn't see a whole lot from our receivers last week, it's still going to be another tough test here for him. Jamil Dean, an 85, Carlton Davis III, an 82, and Junior McCann, a 78. Plus, they have McCollum, and they have Eisen? Maybe? Either way, two 73s at the bottom. It's a full group of starting caliber players at corner. Their safety, Antoine Winfield Jr., fantastic. Plus, they also have Matt Downs, a rookie, who looks like he should probably be getting some play time. As for strong, they have Ryan Neal, a 79. It's still a very solidly built team. A little bit of some holes here and there, but there's so much talent around them that they look like they can be true competitors this season. But the same can be said for us. We need a rebound from last week, and hopefully the refs are going to be a little bit more on our side or just on no one's side. Some clean calls would be nice as we jump on into open up divisional play. Let's get week 2 underway as Ford boots us off. Sheldon back to return, and he will take the knee in the end zone. So the Buccaneers offense will head out, and it does not look like they're actually sending out Gardner Minshew. Instead, it is the second-year quarterback Aragon coming out. I guess it was a game-time decision, but they're going with the young buck as they start with a throw right out the get-go, and they find Evans, who does just manage the first down. Our defense did really well last week in breaking up some passes. We're going to need to see the same thing today, though the receivers we're going against, the top end is a lot better. But a great stop on the end is Owe and Stockton. We started a combined 6 different players at outside linebacker last year, and in 5 of those first starts, the outside linebackers didn't record a single stat. Meanwhile, the defense forces the throwaway. But in Owe's first start, he got a sack. He got a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and he made some good tackles. So it's a good step for our outside group. As they dump this one off, there is Hartwell with the quick stop, and we will get the ball after a pretty quick stop from our defense. Not exactly a 3 and out, but about as close as you could have it without it being so. The offense heads out following a really good first half last week, and Chuba Hubbard once again was our offense as he starts us off here. He totaled just under 250 total yards last week, most of which once again coming through the air, which is no surprise as we get back to him, and he will get out with the first down on the screen. Now, while obviously we love Chuba Hubbard here, he's a great player for us, we need to get everyone else involved, and hopefully we see a little bit more of that today, as it's a nice sidearm going to Thomas, who will pick up the first. Another little stiff arm and out as Vita Vea looks to be a little bit shaken up, a potential ankle injury there perhaps. He's going to limp off the field. So while you hate to see injuries, for our standpoint, that could be huge. As we go right back to the run, Hubbard not finding any space. But we do need to find a way to make sure that we utilize Vita Vea's absence. We go to the outside here, going back to Chuba Hubbard, who tries to bounce it. A great job from the corner there to keep contained. It'll end up bringing up our first third down here. We need 6 yards as we're at the 47. We spread too wide either side, got some slants dialed up. It's Chenault who just gets that in front of White. We really haven't done a great job of getting him involved early on in these games. Need to improve that as they walk down the safety to the right-hand side. So let's flip this. Hurst, 1v1 perhaps. No, instead they send the blitz. We just get this out to him as quickly as possible. And it's another first down, this time going Hayden Hurst. Just need to be smart with our decisions and stop letting up. That was a problem last week. I think the offense let up a little bit. Plus with some really good play from the defense. As Young looks to scramble, it's an awkward scramble. He tried to get to the outside. He actually loses a yard on the play. Perhaps it's because he saw Hubbard breaking open, then realized he was past the line and couldn't throw. Either way, not a great play as we will barely get back that yard. Well, that'll leave us here with a 3rd and 10. We sit at the 23. We change it up a little bit. Got trips to the right, 1 to the left. Hurst right down the seam to cover that well. Get it out in time as Chenault was open, but not enough time to get the ball out cleanly. Thompson breaks that one up, and we will have to send out Ford to give ourselves a lead here after our first drive. He's been phenomenal for us, and the second-year kicker takes the lead. So following a pretty good start all around, only the field goal, but still taking a lead early on. Really good. Can the team keep it up? And that's throughout the game. As they get it to the outside, an awkward dive there at the end from OA, but it's a gain of 5. Would like to find a little bit of some tighter coverage on those out routes. Feel like we should have been able to knock a few of these down. That one, including some from last week as well. Across the middle, someone got a hand on that. Was it Castaneda? Well, not exactly sure you could say it's from Castaneda, but the ball did graze his helmet as it passed by. So we'll credit that pass breakup to the DT. And this team has seen so much unlucky play that things like that we're going to take for sure. 3rd and 5 at the 30, a chance to get off the field as they have a bunch on a flood one side, and Stewart hits home. Finally back in the starting lineup, and he's looking good. He got a lot over us last year as we focused in on the young guys. He's still looking fresh as their offense heads out for our second possession. As we send Chenault, not Chenault, it's Bateman in motion. He takes a jet sweep, just a gain of 1. Just trying to include a couple different plays here and there. Shake up the defense's look a little bit, keep them honest. As we got our guy coming across, it's Thomas who holds on to it. It's a short gain. Now, one thing to note as we have a 3rd and 6 here, Vita Vea still has yet to return. As we run one more player prior to the end of the quarter, Hubbard picks up the first. Need to keep him going more consistently in the running game. I think that was where we faltered last week in the second half. But for this one, need to focus on it. And in doing so, should keep with the same trend as we were just referring to, keeping the defenses honest. As we stay spread here, see if we could get Chenault leaking downfield or the quick throw to the outside. Not who that was intended for, but Mingo wanted the catch. Full honesty there. That was thrown to Hayden Hurst. Either way, it beats the blitz, so that works out well for us. It's 2nd and 5 as we have a little bit of the stick concept. This time it will be Hayden Hurst, shy of the first. And with it being the 3rd and short, it will be Barry coming on out, the rookie power back with some good blocking. Trying to bounce to the outside. He will. A little bit of a stiff arm shoving down Winfield and then gets pushed out by the group of defenders. Now, we don't see him often, but I really feel like he could be a good complement to Hubbard, who's that scat back, receiving back kind of guy. As they do bring the blitz, we got a couple different options. Try to sit this one underneath. Likely doesn't catch it. Instead, it's intercepted, and Chuba Hubbard's injured. Outside of a pick 6, there is nothing worse that could have happened on that play. The Buccaneers take over inside their 10. As we just need to keep doing us. As they swing it out, it's White who will get close to and then will get the first down diving, avoiding the kneecap shot. Now we at least luckily have a quick answer there on Hubbard. He is questionable to return. It's a pectoral strain. Want to be safe with him as that's a good gang tackle led by Stockton. In the past with these turnovers, They got away from us, and when we weren't able to quickly answer, that was really the key problem. We've got to make sure we could answer in this one. And promptly giving up a catch there for a first down to Godwin, not exactly what we were looking for, is a 1st and 10 as they get a bunch to the right-hand side. Going to be some play action as they dump it off to Evans, who will get the catch, a gain of 5. Now what we really need on this young quarterback is a bit of pressure. It's been a little bit hit or miss as we send the blitz on this one. We get in his face, deliver a hit, and Sidney Brown with the upending tackle. Again, we need him most likely to get those stats. Tackle for a loss, what was it? Sack, any of those, as he's probably not going to get the 200 less passing yards as they've already primarily passed the ball today. And with that last one, they pick up a first down, moving inside the 40, close to the 35. They flip the play here. They send 2 to the left-hand side, 2 tight ends as well. Will be a pistol look, which they flood one side, and it's over the top of the linebacker. A good adjustment from the tight end. Brings that one in. You can credit that nice snag there to Payne Durham as they're down to the 24, just 4 away from the red zone. As they'll continue throwing the ball across the middle, and that time it's a knockaway. And on top of it, Tristan Wirf's a little shaken up as well. So far, a lot of key injuries as he'll had to head off. We'll see what the full length of that injury is as we move along. As they go downfield, it's gonna be caught by Godwin, sitting right in between the zones. And you know, we saw it a little bit last year, but Aragon, despite the low overall, he's making some great reads out there. 1st and goal, they hand this one off, no read option, and he can just walk in. The blocking for the quarterback there was beautiful. The Buccaneers take the lead. And once again, that means that a turnover of ours leads to points for our opponents, happening way too often as we come out with about 2 minutes. A dump off here goes to Haydenhurst, stays on his feet until his feet are taken away. Give our tight end a gain of 8 there as we hit the 2-minute warning. Now, we said it last week, ended up jinxing us with a pick 6 right before half, but Steve Smith Sr. typically calls a pretty good 2-minute offense. It's just, can we actually finish this one, as no adjustment there from Barry, essentially throwing out of a sack. But that's a pretty good segue to saying Barry obviously is out there, not Chuba Hubbard. We'll see how long that continues as he will pick up the first and an extra 5 with the second effort. We'll get back to the line rather quickly here. Sticking with that trips look to the left-hand side. It's a linebacker on Chenault. That's a pretty good matchup, though he shakes him off, and we're just going to look to scramble here. Young picking up the first down and getting down very awkwardly as he ends up turning it into a backslide at the end. We're going to flip it, though, as we're still over a minute left here. Trying to get the halfback screen to Barry, see if he could truck some corners. Some safeties even would be nice. We get some blocks out, lower the shoulder, and he goes through Winfield Jr., though. Seems like he takes most of the licking as he's going to head off the field as well. So that'll end up sending out Ty Barlow, as right now we're down to 1 running back, though we have a single high safety. As they're packing everyone down towards the line, they do bring 1 extra as Young tries to get this over the top for Chenault. It was close to dropping in, but the Buccaneers collapsed on it. Now we are down to 2 timeouts as well due to that injury, so we need to keep that in mind as we go with the run here. Barlow will get through the line, though not much after. He'll pick up 5, and we'll get back to the line quickly. We got an RPO dialed up here. We can swing it out to Chenault, and we will with some blocks. Try to get back underneath. We don't. The Buccaneers will call a timeout, so saving us, it is 4th and 4. Risky to go for it here, but that's what we do. We take risks. As we have our guy coming across, it is Thomas with the first down and a good bit more. We could call our second timeout there as we got a first down at the 11. Again, we don't have the top end talent around the league, right? But we got talent and we could use it in several different ways. Heavy man sets, lighter sets as we hand this one off. Barlow kept the legs moving a little bit, but we got to get back quickly. Only have 1 timeout remaining, about 15 seconds. Young dropping back, needs something to open up here. He's got his guy, but he just collapses. Okay, well, we call a timeout there. No idea what happened. He clearly wasn't past the line, but it seemed like he thought he was, and when he went to throw to his receiver, he also just decided to slide as he has his guy and it's off his hands. There's a flag down as well. And that time he actually throws it while he's past the line. So some interesting play there from Young at the end, but we will settle for the field goal here at the end. So send us into half. It will make it 7-6 with the Buccaneers having that 1-point lead. A very strange way to end that half, and as we are now at half, let's break the fourth wall a little bit. On that play where Young just collapsed, I told him to throw high and to X, who was wide open. Instead, he slid. And then the next play, rolling past the line, then he actually threw it. The weirdest thing, but hey, Madden is Madden. As we look around the league here, the Giants are hosting the Vikings, and the Vikings are putting it to them here going into half, 21-7, with a new quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in Nichols, 14 of 16 in that first half with 2 touchdowns. They might have their guy for the future then. As for the Bears, they're hosting the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are up. It's a closer game there, 14-3, with Justin Fields still the quarterback for the Bears, though has that interception. As for the last game, we have the Dolphins. They're taking on the Steelers away, and they are up 14-10 at half. No quarterback throwing any touchdowns, been all the running game. And speaking of running game, as we come out to start our second half on offense, we still do not have Chuba Hubbard. We decided to be cautious with him, as again, it's early on in this season. So right now, it is just Barlow as he starts us off with a gain of nothing. So with us missing our top offensive weapon and his backup, we really need the tight ends and receivers to step up in this game. Make some more consistent plays, as we also need to find them. And a bit earlier than that, we had Rashad Bateman open on that one, just took too long to find him. As we changed it up here, it's already 3rd and 10, trips to the left-hand side, needs something to open up. Or Young could just go ahead and scramble for it. He lowers the shoulders. Makes it 4th and inches. That's not really what you want your quarterback to be doing, but it really shows he's trying to will this team downfield. And just, once again, we go for it. As we hand it off, it's Callaway, the rookie, who picks up the first. Well, this should definitely make for a good experiment on how we could get this offense moving outside of just Chuba Hubbard. Potentially, he's kind of been a crutch for us as we pick up 3 more to Barlow. On top of it, it's going to put even more weight here on Young. It's really just his offense right now. As it goes some play action, either blocking to hold up, which it does. Likely's wide open. This time he holds on to it and he doesn't give it to the Buccaneers. Instead, a first down to the opposite 35. We could really use some plays like that. You could see on that play, Young was feeling a little bit antsy in the pocket. The legs didn't stop moving, as that might be a reason why the hits keep coming, as Bateman does pick up the first there as the ball barely made it in time. But it seems like the Buccaneers are just trying to bring pressure now to really rattle Young. As they do once again, we hand it off. Barlow lowers the shoulder, drags a defender for an extra couple yards. It's a gain of 5. And if we could just keep getting them to suck down towards the line, we might be able to pop off over the top with a play like this to Hurst on the little bit of a wheel from the tight end spot. Though, pocket collapses and it's a sack. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier about the defensive line here for the Bucs. They're good. Obviously, they're missing Vita Vea, and they are still very much a threat. We need more from our offensive line, and we need our guys to find some open space, as it's just too short. Knocked away once again. Young still's got to work on finding the right loft on those throws, but it gives us an opportunity to take a very narrow lead, as Ford with his 3rd field goal puts us up 9-7. Well, that will bring the first possession of the second half to an end that took about 4 minutes, yet only resulted in 3 points. Less than a point a minute on that drive as we finally bring down White. Talk about a long play. But with our offense being rather sluggish today and missing some guys, we really need the defense to play well this second half, as there's movement up front. Is it the tackle or is it Owe? They're going to call it on the Bucs. Back them up, make it 2nd and 10. And you could really just breathe a sigh of relief there that there's a penalty thrown that's not on us, as we saw way too many of those last week, though I think I just jinxed ourselves. Yep, they're doing it. Another bogus DPI call. We had 3 of those alone last week that resulted in the Jets' essential game-winning touchdown. Good stop there is Sweat. So it definitely seems like for some reason the refs, they're out to get us this year. 2nd and 10, let's just try to play around them as much as we can. Throw to the outside, Brown not able to knock it away, but that's probably the safest option. Well, that will bring up a 3rd down, 3rd and 4, which they come out with a spread empty look, looking for a pass to the outside, and it's a bad throw that we're not called DPI on. We get the stop. With that, I really want to take hold of this game, slow it down a little bit for our offense as we try to get some ground and pound action. It's a gain of 2 to start off. And I feel like I want to run primarily to the left-hand side. We saw Clifton have some tremendous blocks for us last week as he helps set the early gap there, though we're not getting much off of it. In the first 2 plays of this drive, just 2 yards, so already 3rd and 8. Not exactly going to plan as we have to bring out the heavy tight end set. Get this one out for Hayden Hurst, who will pick up that 1st down, lower the shoulder for an extra yard or 2, and keep this clock moving. Just get us a little bit closer to that 4th quarter as we stick with the same look, going again to that left-hand side, try to file in some blocks, and we'll squeeze through. It's not a whole lot of yards after contact, but they're getting the job done slowly but surely. As we head into the 4th quarter, it's a defensive game, 9-7. We just have to make sure we keep it under our control. That's been the problem. We've let too many teams dictate these games. We just got to make sure we keep doing our thing. 3rd and 6. And once again, we're going to rely on these short, quick throws as we're out in a tight shotgun look. They're bringing everyone down towards the line. They know what we do, but we get it to Likely. However, he does not have it. 4th and inches just past midfield. But it's no shocker. The offensive line is staying out there with the rest of the offense. Weird thing to say, but yeah, the offense stays out there as we go back to the fullback dive. It's Callaway getting rocked, but he picks up the 1st. Again, we're trying to dictate this game. So 4th and inches, yeah, we're going to go for it. Now, as we've gone with so many short plays, let's see if we could pop one over the top. A little bit of some play action. Just need something to open up. Well, how about this running room right down the middle as Young sprints down and holds on to it down to the 24. Not exactly what we meant by popping it downfield, but it still ends up working out nonetheless as we stick with a similar look here. Trying to get a run to the outside, hit a 1st gap if anywhere to open, and none really do. A loss of 2. And I do think we're seeing a little bit of the limitations of Barlow. He's not really making any of the big plays after the 1st set of defenders. We get this one out to Likely, turning up, and it's another 1st down for our tight end. Well, he didn't get the one earlier. He definitely made sure he got that one. And on top of that, he got us down to a 1st and goal, though just about the longest 1st and goal you could have as we are at the 10. We motion over Callaway, looking for a stretch, maybe a cutback right down the middle. We'll say they're wrapping him up very smartly, getting the knees. Really hard for a power back to keep those legs moving when he really can't move them at all. 2nd and goal, stick with the same look. We got some out routes. Hurst going towards the back of the end zone. They actually do a fantastic job on coverage. Plus, the tackle was amazing, and it actually shakes up Bryce Young a bit. Though as he heads to the sideline, looks more like it's actually cramps. Hopefully that's the case. Either way, Dugan in here for 3rd and goal as we spread empty. And if you look all the way to the left-hand side, Chuba Hubbard is back out there. And we find our way into the end zone here. Over the top. No, it's picked off instead. That pass needed to be taller. And Dean's still going. We'll get an extra couple of yards. Dugan throws the pick. Just needed a little bit more height on that. And it was a touchdown. Well, the offense almost did everything they needed to do there. Instead, now it goes back to the defense. Just a 2-point game. We can't even give up the field goal as we need a quick tackle, which we get from Gardner Johnson. Well, that will send us inside 3 minutes left. Both teams have all 3 timeouts, so this one still a long way from over. As they go with a pass to the outside, they does still make it out there. Looked like that one was going to come up short, but it just stayed up long enough to find more. Now we need not make this easy though on Aragon. Need to get a little bit of some pass rush as we haven't got much of that today. Quick throw, it's off the top of Evan's head. He nearly caught it after, but it does hit the turf. And with that, we'll bring up 2nd and 10. One more play left before the 2-minute warning. As we send a couple extra guys, they get it out to Godwin, and that does get him close to field goal range. Need our defense to stand tall here. As we come out, they got 3 to the right-hand side, 1 to the left. A lot of passing here in this game. Who's just going to make the final big play? Well, a bad pass, that goes to us. Now, I do have to say a little bit of some soft coverage on that. It was lucky that it was a bad throw. As I go right back to it, that time it's on him, but Newsome knocks it away. 3rd and 10. One more play needed. Not field goal range for him. Just knock out the ball. As they get it out quickly to White, who will not get the first, but he gets him down to the 38. Is that close enough to attempt the go-ahead field goal? Well, they will try it. This one from about the 45, so a 55-yarder. The snap is back, hold down, kick is up, it's going to the left, and they miss it. Fairbairn cannot keep it true. He had the power, but now the power relies on us to finish this game. It is 9-7, and Chuba Hubbard has come out to help try to ice this game away, as he will pick up a couple yards. First timeout called. Now again, we've gotten really lucky in this game in the fact that Vita Vea had to leave early on, and it's down the middle where we need to find our success late. Get a block there from Walker would have been nice. Instead, Chuba Hubbard showing the shiftiness. It's a good thing his injury was his pectorals and not his ankles, as he shook that of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First down with 1 timeout, just about seals it as Barlow, right down the middle, will seal this one. Last timeout called, and we can kneel it from here. Well, who would have thought? A team that relies on really a good amount of scoring in first halves. We only scored 3 field goals today, yet that is what brings us our first win on the season against a Buccaneer team. One of our rivals will definitely help solidify us above them in division. That being said, it still wasn't a very clean game, but one thing of major note, the Buccaneers had a total of 154 offensive yards. The defense, they came to play today. We gave up some plays here and there. We did not have much of any pass rush, but we did well, and they saw some help from our offense, who managed the game a good bit better today. Turnovers were still a problem. We had another 2 in this one. However, we didn't let those get the better of us. Obviously, some things definitely could have been a whole lot different. Even on those turnovers, if things just slightly panned out a little bit different, but you can nitpick all you want. The team got the win, and they were the ones that kept it within their grasp. They didn't let things get away from them like they've done so many times. So that major improvement. Obviously, the fact that we did not have Chuba Hubbard for most of this game, that was felt. Ty Barlow, he got a good amount of rushes in, 3.2 yards. We know what we have with him, and he needs some better blocking. I think Brian Barry can do a little bit more than Barlow can with that same amount of blocking given. However, he suffered an injury, and it's going to take him a little bit before he gets back. As for our receivers today, Isaiah Likely, he led us. He made plays a lot more consistently. He's not dropping the ball, which is key, so that is great. But we need more from our true receivers. Our top 3 today were our tight ends. We need more from Bateman, we need more from Chenault, and we need more from Mingo. But still, gotta give a lot of praise to the defense, so let's just look at their stats. Gardner Johnson and Stockton led the team in tackles, 4 each. Tackles for a loss, we had 4 in total. Stockton, Sweat, Stewart, and Owe. So while we didn't get much of a pass rush today, Owe still making plays in the backfield, so that is great. And the 1 sack we did get was from Grover Stewart. But the MVP of the game, that goes to Cole Ford. He got all of our 9 points. Defense, though, they are also co-MVP because they kept it a winnable game with just 3 field goals. But as mentioned, we will be without Brian Berry for the next few games as he tore his labrum in this one. Counts for 1 week of the length, so he'll miss the next 3. However, we will be getting back Andrews and Lippett, and then 1 more week away from getting Hodgins back. We didn't really see much from Hartwell in his debut game, but not really noticing someone is also sometimes a good thing. He's just doing his job, and they're not targeting him. So on that part, we'll give him a good job. Well, we will finish with Sidney Brown. He's put in a lot of work this year, and he's finally starting to see those results paying off. Sidney Brown does complete his star dev boost. You really thank his defending teammates for that, keeping the Buccaneers from racking up yards again with a really pretty good offense. They were missing their top tight end, but the receivers we did very well against. And with that win, we see ourselves remain second in the NFC South, though the Falcons and the Saints switch, as the Saints did lose. It must have been a head-to-head, as the Falcons did jump 2 teams. So we're still in a good spot for divisional play, which if we win our division, gets us to the playoffs. But as for the next foreseeable future, we are out of divisional play, as it's Patriots up next, then the Cardinals, and then the Rams. So do not miss Monday's episode, which will be the Patriots. They are also 1-1. They have a stout defense. They added Nick Chubb. We'll see how well we do against them. But I feel like we could hang with any team as long as we keep the game within ourselves, stop letting the other teams dictate, and make sure that we don't have too many costly turnovers. That is what's killed the team so far. Make sure you do not miss out on Monday's video by hitting that bell icon on the bottom right or scrolling down and hitting the sub button. You can also hit the bell icon as well so you're notified of when these videos go live. As mentioned, Monday, plus Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for this series. Plus you have the States Only Challenge every single Wednesday and Saturday. So 6 videos every single week. All Madden content, though I am contemplating, I'm not sure when it comes out, but when the next MLB The Show comes out, I'm contemplating doing a My Player, similarly to what we did with the final FIFA before it became, what was it, EAFC, something like that. Let me know what you think about that. Just switching up occasionally. We'll take a little bit of break from the challenges, though still keep things going here for traditional franchises. And then whenever we finally get the drop of college football, whatever they're actually calling that one, then I do want to bring that to the channel as well. So we might have some new games coming in the next few months. I imagine that they bring out MLB The Show around the start of the MLB season. I don't know. I'm going to do some Googling. Again, let me know what you think about that. But the Panthers will be back on Monday. As for the States Only Challenge, that will be tomorrow.